All month long, News 3 has been taking action for men's health. We've shared with you stories from cancer survivors and advocates while raising funds for the Movember Foundation. Well, tonight we're talking about something a lot of men, they don't like to talk about: testicular cancer. Well, earlier tonight, News 3 anchor Zach Dahlheimer shared his story of battling the disease. Zach picks up with more on the battle after diagnosis and doctors leading this charge for raising awareness.
When you get diagnosed with cancer, you have two options. You can either, roll over and do nothing, or you could stand up, look at it square in the eye, and smack it and hit it right in the mouth.
So we're on our way to the North Carolina Cancer Hospital at UNC Chapel Hill. We're going to see Dr. Matt Malowski, who has been my main oncologist, who I've seen every few months or so. We're also going to be talking with Dr. Eric Wallen. He talked with me as well. Very great guy. The way I treat it is it's like you're going to go see an old friend.
Are you going to ring the bell?
I haven't rung the bell because the day I was told I was officially cancer-free, it was over a virtual Zoom call. Didn't get to do the bell that day, but
do the bell.
You think we should do the bell today?
Do the bell today.
We'll do the bell. All right. I like it.
It's been a pleasure being able to care for you. Fortunately, you presented with what was an early stage testicular cancer. We talked about the different options that were potentially available to you and ultimately settled on surveillance. I think particularly when you're meeting with younger patients who have no expectation of developing an illness like this at such a young age, it's really critically important to explain what's going on. We make people understand that it is the most common cancer between the ages of 15 and 40 in men.
I feel a lot of sympathy for the testicular cancer patients because they are the ones, these men who are starting families, who might have just started a new job, who might have just moved to a new area, and it is so disruptive in their life.
What I typically say to patients is, I want you to leave this room understanding that this is a curable cancer. It's really just a question of how we get there. We want to be able to provide treatments for patients and ensure that patients have the same quality of life that they had before treatment. All men within that age range should be aware, and self-testicular examination is important. Well, I think that the level of awareness is certainly not where it should be.
In general, in men's health, we're up against a challenge. That relationship between a woman and an OBGYN is a lifelong relationship that goes through all of the phases of reproduction. For men, that doesn't exist. Men are less engaged in preventative health behaviors, and I would love to change that.
We also have research related to testicular cancer. This is a study that we're in the process of getting ready to launch soon at UNC. Targeting that particular protein using these engineered T cells from the patient can potentially be an avenue to be able to treat their testicular cancer.
Is it possible if I could ring the bell today, Doc?
Yes, of course. Ring the bell.
It provided closure to me. I was just worried I was going to rip that bell out of the wall. This is going to be a great Thanksgiving. I got a lot to be thankful for. I don't want my story to be a story of sadness. I want it to be a story of strength. And hopefully me sharing my story, guys and their families will be able to see this and say, let's have a conversation.
So brave of you to come out and talk about this, because you're right, a lot of men don't want to talk about it, but it's a disease that, like you said, is curable if you get help. So how are you doing now?
Yeah, well, early detection is key, Bev. I mean, and I will say I'm doing great. Year and a half out cancer-free, and as you saw there, finally got to ring the bell, which was pretty cool. Yeah. And big thanks to Wayne Pellenberg, our photojournalist, and Kelly Dietz, our producer, for interviewing me. But no, I'm going down every 4 months to seeing Dr. Malowski, and hopefully next February, which will be 2 years since I started treatment at UNC, we'll go to 6 months, and then after that, once a year moving forward. So staying undefeated.
It had to have felt so good to ring that bell. I could just see the, overcoming in your eyes. You're like, I'm doing this. I'm going to keep ringing it. What did doctors tell you about helping the men get health care that they need?
Well, and that's an interesting thing. So Dr. Wallen, as we heard in this piece, he's really, really passionate about men's health. And in fact, he told me that him and other doctors from different backgrounds have formed a steering committee for men's health with UNC. What this means is that they're working on getting funding from the state to bring certain resources such as mobile healthcare clinics, virtual healthcare clinics, thinking to places that may not have a primary care physician or may not have a specialist, especially in rural areas that may be underserved. These are terms that he said primary care deserts, places that really don't have a doctor. And one area in particular he mentioned was Elizabeth City, among other cities and counties in North Carolina they're looking at.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. You have mammogram stations all over the place, but you don't hear of people testing for testicular cancer.
Yeah, and we're trying to change that now. It's time to talk, and guys, let's talk. Let's get talking, and for ourselves and for our families and friends, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Good story there.
Thank you.
And glad you're well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
News 3 is taking action, raising awareness for men's health and funds for the Movember Foundation, as Zach was just talking about. For more, including on how you can contribute to News 3's Movember team, head to our website.